Hello everybody, it is Alex Killings97 here, and I am back now with another Elder Scrolls Lore episode. Now, I have got my new mic, so I hope you all like the new quality and all that. It's a lot better than my other one. So anyway, let's get on with the news. Today well, not the news, the lore. But today we're going to go and do Skyrim. Skyrim is the northern, the northern province of Tamriel. It is a very cold and mountainous region, known by some as the Old Kingdom, Mereth, or the Fatherland. Many past battles have given it a ravaged appearance and many ruins. It is quite a barbaric kind of land, as you've seen from the game Skyrim. It is quite barbaric, and it is currently inhabited by the Nords. Although back many years ago, before the Nords inhabited it, it was inhabited by the Snow Elves, who were forced down to live with the Dwemer, who also lived in Skyrim. They lived underground. And it was the Nede who were the first humans who came to Tamriel, and Skyrim was the first province that held the humans. That's why they call it the Fatherland. And the sovereign or the ruler is the High King of Skyrim. Is chosen by something they call the Moot, which is a convention of Jarls. And basically the Jarls, they have their own regions. There are 9 different regions. There are 9 different regions in Skyrim, and they are Eastmarch, the Pale, Winterhold, Hjalmarch, Harfingar, the Reach, and Whiterunhold, Folkfold, and the Rift. So those are the holds in Skyrim. Now some of the geography. So to the east of it, over the Velopi Mountains, is Morrowind, and Cyrodiil is to the south beyond the Geralt Mountains, and Hammerfell is to the south and west, and High Rock is past the Droudek Mountains to the west, and the Sea of Ghost runs along the province's long northern coastline. So Skyrim holds 4 of the 5 highest mountains in Tamriel, the Red Mountain being the only one outside Skyrim. Skyrim is very mountainous, and it also has, it does have the tallest mountain, which is called the Throat of the World, which is in the very center of Skyrim. It's very large. It is a very large mountain. On the game Skyrim, it takes ages to go up there. And also on top, near the top of the Throat of the World, is where the Greybeards live, who are the masters of the Way of the Voice. That is a pretty good thing. So we'll talk about more of the holds. So first we'll talk about Eastmarch. Eastmarch is, of course, from the name, is the eastern hold of Skyrim, and one of the 4 known collectively as the Old Holds. As its name suggests, it lies against the province's eastern border, like I said, close to the Dunmeth Pass. The only passage to and from Morrowind in the area, due to the high and rugged Velopi Mountains, Windhelm is the only sizable city in the otherwise rural province, due to the expansive hot springs which dominate the hold. Darkwater River winds north from Lake Gaea into the treacherous hotspot where it meets the White River, which then drains into the Sea of Ghosts as it passes Windhelm. River Yogrim also joins with the White River before it ends at the Sea of Ghosts. It drains Lake Yogrim, which lies west in the hold known as the Pale. Eastmarch is the coldest hold in Skyrim by a long shot, and also, obviously, Windhelm is the capital of the hold, the city's main source of power, and that is the oldest city in Skyrim by most accounts. So it is a very interesting little thing that it's quite a very old city. Is Windhelm. So now we'll talk about the Pale. The Pale is the northern boot-shaped hold of Skyrim, one of the four known collectively as the Old Holds. The hold is a barren realm covered by vast fields of ice and snow, some scattered mountains and some pine forest. It stretches from the center of Skyrim all the way to its northern coast, Lake Yilgrim marks the eastern corner, while the capital Dawnstar is a busy port found along the northern coast. The whole distinctive boot shape is due to its curving around the mountain range which forms its border with Winterhold. Um, Dawnstar isn't really a city; it is more a large village. It is a town in Skyrim. It is not a city though. Not all the holds have cities in Skyrim. Next is Winterhold. Winterhold is the northernmost hold in Skyrim and has the weather to match it. It is the coldest by far the coldest region uh, in um, in Skyrim. The Sea of Ghosts is off its northern coast. East March is to the southeast, sorry, and Dawnstar is to the south and west. The College of Winterhold is the most notable feature of the hold, which was spared even though the Great Collapse tore down most of the city around it. What remains is a meagre village, technically the Hold's capital city, near the entrance to the college. Winterhold consists of snowy coast as well as an even snowier mountain range, which marks the border between Winterhold and the Pale, and some of the northern borders to East March, between the mountains and the sea to the east, lies an ice plain where the elements are at their harshest, and life at its most scarce. Uh, Rock and ice shelves from the barrier between Winterhold and the sea to the north and east, dotted occasionally with shingle beaches. So that's a little description of Winterhold. I believe it was once the capital of Skyrim as well, Winterhold, way before the Great Collapse. But I believe it was once the capital of Skyrim. Next is Hjalmarch. Hjalmarch, or the Hjalmarch Hold, is a lowland coastal hold in Skyrim. Roughly half the old is a foul-smelling marsh, south of which is the capital and the only settlement, Morphel, although some farms dot the tundra. The region is veined with waterways that empty into the Sea of Ghosts, and the southern and eastern mountains near its borders further isolate the area. Hjalmarch is home to the Calf Delta, also called the mouths of the Calf, where the mighty Calf River and the smaller River Hjal empty into the Sea of Ghosts through a variety of intricate channels. The Deathbell flower is known to be abundant throughout these swamps. Many ruins do dot the hold, including the legendary Labyrinthian. Combined with the fog that surrounds the marshes and the creatures that stalk the land, Hjalmarch is considered one of the more mysterious holds in Skyrim. Okay, so next, Harfinger. Harfinger, or Harfinger Hold, is a relatively small mountainous coastal hold in northern western Skyrim. However, it is also the capital hold of Skyrim, although it is a small one. Its capital is the famed city of Solitude, and the two are sometimes treated as one and the same. Solitude is perched on top a large rock outcropping towering high above the end of the Calf River and the massive Calf Delta. However, Harfinger is far more than just Solitude. The Calf River allows for a great deal of commerce in Solitude, and the town of Dragonsbridge and the long coastline with the Sea of Ghosts is littered with frozen shipwrecks and treasures. The mountain ranges are filled with caves and ruins, where bandits and creatures make their homes. The hold shares borders with two other holds, the Reach to the south and Hjalmarch to the southeast, and the province of High Rock, which borders it to the west. The mountains of Harfingar are only the tapered end of the Draudak Mountains, an enormous range of jagged mountain peaks to the south, which rise up among the clouds of the Reach. So then, with that done, we'll go on to do the Reach. So the Reach is the large southwestern hold of Skyrim. It gives way to High Rock to the west and Hammerfell to the south, though exactly where has changed over the course of history and various wars. Near the southwestern corner, the capital of city Markarth, formerly a Dwemer stronghold, it is the only Dwemer city in Skyrim, is built into the living rock of the Draudak Mountains, which are replaced by the Jarrow Mountains near the hold's southeast corner. The Calf River begins in the southwestern region and drains the mountains, running like a deep gorge through the middle of the hold. The peaks of the Draudic Range lie to the west of it, and the high bluffs typically rise on the east, leading to grassland and tundra. The hold is inhabited by Nords and the native Reachmen, who are primarily of Breton descent. They are known for resisting foreign rule by ancient magic and an intimate knowledge of the landscape to their adventure in guerrilla warfare and espionage tactics. So there are also a couple of places as well within it, like such as Carth, Western, and Old Hroden, which are in the Reach. Now Whiterun Hold. Whiterun Hold is the centre hold in Skyrim. It borders 6 of the 8 holds in Skyrim, with the exceptions of Windhelm and Harfingar. Giants are often seen traversing the landscape while herding mammoths to grazing areas or back to their camps surrounding the capital. Whiterun are fertile plants, dotted with farms that supply the food for much of Skyrim. The other notable settlements in the hold are Rorikstead and Riverwood. So now Falkreath Hold. Falkreath Hold is a southern hold in Skyrim along the border with Cyrodiil and Hammerfell. It's the second southernmost hold in Skyrim after the Rift. The capital of the city is Falkreath, and the abandoned settlements of Helgen and Nuglud Watch are also located here. Home of Skyrim's famous pine forest, Falkreath Hold is covered in a fine mist that makes the land seem without season. The mountains rising above Falkreath are well above the snow line, striking a stark comparison to the rest of the hold. The most distinguishing geographic feature is Lake Linatal, which covers a large portion of the central region and acts as the source for the White River. And now is the final hold, the Rift. The Rift is the southeastern hold of Skyrim, as a temperate region northwest of the intersection between the Velothi Mountains and the Jarrow Mountains. It is one of the 4 holds known collectively as the Old Holds. The capital city is Riften, is on the shores of Lake Honrick, which is drained by the Treva River and Lake Gaia. Its relatively mild climate allows for thriving agriculture. Now, also Riften is also the home of the Thieves Guild, and it's like the Breville of Cyrodiil. More crime in that area, etc. Basically, that is basically what it's like. But as I was going back to earlier, I'll go back to now. Just before, when I was mentioning about the Snow Elves, they were forced underground, and now the Snow Elves have become the Falmer, who are the not the Falmor though, guys, the Falmer. They are the like these twisted creatures, but that have turned into these over centuries of bad treatment from the Dwemer, the humans, Nords, and they've been turned into these creatures. I'll most likely do a video on this separately, but for now, I will leave it at that. So yeah, guys, that was this one about Skyrim. As you can tell, it's a lot longer to do than my other one. It was 13 minutes long. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. For the next episode, I'll let you guys choose a province. If there's a province in particular you want to know about, feel free to leave a comment. If you don't give me anything, I will just choose a one at random. But please leave a comment, guys, because I always like to see your feedback. And especially if people want recommendations for a province to do, feel free. So your choices, guys, at the moment. We've done Morrowind, Cyrodiil, and Skyrim. You have a choice of High Rock, Hammerfell, Somerset Isles, Elsewhere, Valenwood, and Blackmarsh. So there are your choices, guys. So I hope to see you all in the next episode. And so I'll just see you all then, guys. Alright.